Have you ever wondered what it's like to have a Radiant player coach you through your games? Well, that's exactly what we did with one of our SkillCapped members, Kirby, today. Kirby is a player who has been playing since day one of beta, but he's currently still stuck in silver. He's still very much learning the ropes of how to play the game at a higher level, and the big question we get asked a lot here at SkillCapped is, can you help me get out of silver? That's what we want to try to help Kirby do today. That's exactly why we had Kirby boot up his stream on Discord with us, and Jaden and I helped coach him through one of his matches. Well, actually we coached him through 2 of his matches. However, in the first match, he had the worst throwers I have ever seen in my life. As you can see, this is an example of players who have no intention of winning the game. And to be honest, this stuff doesn't happen often, but it does happen. The only reason I mention this is because it was just something that caught me really off guard, and it was also something that you have no control over. What we did with Kirby throughout this first match, though, is we tried to specifically coach him through the things that he was doing, fully knowing that he was going to lose this game. It sucks, I know, but by accepting that this game was lost, we were actually able to get Kirby to realize a couple things in his gameplay. The first thing being that he tends to stand too still when he's fighting enemies.
Yeah. Okay, well, just talking about how you died here, died there, I think bet you focus on a lot of movement when you're peeking onto around the pillar.
Or how he has a tendency to not play off of his utility enough. This is something that is really important for an agent like Killjoy especially, because her utility is what makes Killjoy Killjoy. And if you're not using your utility to your advantage, it means you're just letting it go to waste. I explained this to Kirby a bit after the first game. Listen.
A big thing I noticed too, Kirby, is just like when you place your turret, always try to be like ready to peek off of it. Like as soon as that turret starts shooting, it's gonna get somebody's attention, and you can oftentimes swing off of that, and you can get kills off of it. But a lot of the times you're like placing your turret in a position where you're not really ready to peek off of it, and it just like it results in your turret dying, and like it's like Killjoy's full thing, you know.
Right.
The equivalent of like Phoenix flashing somebody, you know, like if Phoenix throws a flash around the corner, then he peeks off the flash, you should be peeking off of your turret as well.
And you'll actually notice that a bit later in the game, Kirby was sort of getting the hang of this tactic, but didn't quite have it down. But this was just a trial game at this point, seeing as it was quite literally unwinnable. And you may not have trolls in every single one of your games, but I do encourage you all to think of your games like this. If your goal in all of your games is to learn things and improve, it's not going to be as big of a deal when stuff like this happens. Because at the end of the day, all we queued into the game to do was help Kirby learn, so it was frustrating that we didn't get a good game, but it also doesn't stop us from learning. But anyways, let's take a look into the second game and see how we can apply some of the things that we went over in the first game. And by the way, if you wanted to see this full coaching session, we're actually going to have it available on the website where you can view all of the commentary, so be sure to check that out in the description down below. But moving on to the second match, this is the time where we are actually able to get a real game going, and a lot of it was about teaching Kirby to adapt to the different things going on in the game as Killjoy. This is how the game started. That's okay though, because oftentimes you'll have a rough start to a game, but during these rounds, what's important is what you learn from them and how you adapt.
Players are still on A. But yeah. Actually worked out for you guys because of the ultimate, which is really good. Another thing is, so what we found out is looking out for patterns. So we know that this Reyna Jet are very aggressive on A. You could probably play more passively on A and hold for them. And they do like to flank you guys. So maybe taking the game a slower pace here.
Okay.
You could drop a turret towards A.
Notice how Jaden is constantly taking notes of what is going on within the round, so even though he's currently down 3 rounds, hopefully what he learned from the first 9 rounds will help him win the next 3. And because of this, it actually does help Kirby get a pick in the following round. Unfortunately, Kirby wasn't able to pick up all 3 of the remaining rounds on offense, but still finishing 5-7 isn't terrible, and this lets him go into the defensive half feeling a bit more comfortable. And this is where we're actually going to be able to assess a bit more how Kirby plays off of his utility within this game. Because as we mentioned in the previous game, he had a tendency to just let his enemies destroy his stuff without peeking off of it. So I actually have this cool round to show you from the game that I was pretty happy with. Take a look at this one.
Oh. You're saying like here's?
Yeah, exactly. Looks like they're mid.
Now, Kirby actually still did some things wrong here, so you may ask, King, why are you happy about this round? I'm happy because his turret targeted the enemy Sage, and Kirby, with confidence, full swung that angle. Now, maybe full swinging out into the open wasn't the right call, but it's about taking things one step at a time, and despite him full swinging into the open, he still managed to hit the Sage once and then the Omen twice. And if you actually take a look later in that round, that 100 damage that he did to Omen does actually end up making a difference. Because maybe if Kirby didn't hit the Omen for 100, he doesn't die to this wallbang and then walks away to play post plant, making the round severely harder for the Phoenix. So my point here being, what Kirby did in this round wasn't perfect, but it was better. And better is all that you can really hope for when you're looking to improve. Don't look for perfect, look for better. As the game played out though, we eventually ended up rotating Kirby towards A site because his team was struggling to hold A, and we tried to walk him through how to hold A.
The thing I like to do is putting my turret on top of screens. Like that big, yeah. Like on the, kind of like, I can't really explain it, but you could just place it for now.
Okay.
Placing alarm bot. Placing swarm grenade.
I would have still loved if Kirby swung off of his turret's contact with the Reyna, but you could tell he still sort of wanted to do this, and the Phoenix ends up getting a kill off of it anyway, so we'll cut him some slack here. Icebox A site can be a really scary place to defend, but this is what it's all about. Peeking off of crossfires and intentionally pulling your opponent's crosshair into locations where they have unfavorable gunfights. This is why Killjoy can be so good, because she can set up those crossfires with her turret. After some unfortunate rotations from his teammates here though, Kirby will end up losing this round, making this a bit of a stressful game. However, at round 23, Kirby, with the help of his team, was able to send this game into overtime. We did have to reel him back a little bit by telling him when to go in, but he actually does a really good job on this retake by pretty much taking charge, which was really awesome to see.
So you're
Sage
gonna
on
hold
me.
here now? Sage is probably gonna she might res mid, but you should wait for your teammates here. That Astro Wall's coming down. How's your Phoenix peak? Start to peak. So that blinded somebody, so they could be underneath rafters right now.
Yeah, try to protect your Ash right here. Do your best. Nice.
Kirby was able to send this game into overtime, and during overtime, he actually has two really awesome rounds that I wanted to finish off the video talking about. The first one actually takes place when the enemy team is on match point and Kirby is on defense. It's actually not even a very glamorous round, but it's one where Kirby single-handedly stalls out the B plant long enough for his teammates to rotate over and close out the round. Notice how, in this round, pretty much all he did was pop his nanoswarm on the bomb planter, but he pretty much single-handedly stalls out the round for his teammates to rotate, which goes super overlooked and doesn't show up in the stats, but is super important. But the last round we're going to talk about is a good one, and it takes place in double overtime. Kirby played this round really well, and I know that this felt like a really awesome victory for both Jaden and I. Off the back of this play, his team was able to go in to win the match in double overtime, and it was actually just super cool to see the small improvements that we saw over this short session. Like I said though, if you want to see the full session, including the commentary from Jaden and myself, feel free to check it out at skillcapped.com, link in the description below. I hope you guys learned something from this, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And that's just about going to do it for us here today. As always, my name is King, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.